awareness, don't miss thought's bliss. Snack on wisdom, take a seat. Every bite feels so sweet.
Episode 5 Through the Looking Glass: How Perception Shapes Reality. Welcome back to Philosopher's Corner, where we explore the big ideas that shape our world. I'm your host, Jack, and in today's episode, we're diving into a concept that's as old as philosophy itself, but has massive implications for our lives today: how perception shapes our reality. Let me start with a quick thought experiment. Picture two people watching the same event unfold. Let's say it's a public argument between two strangers. One person focuses on the anger, the yelling, the chaos, believing that the world is a harsh and unjust place. The other sees the argument as an opportunity to resolve differences, maybe even sees it as a moment of human vulnerability. How is it possible that two people can witness the same event and yet interpret it in such different ways? This brings us to today's quote from Anaïs Nin: "We do not see things as they are, we see them as we are." In this episode, we're going to unpack this idea from a philosophical, psychological, and practical angle. You'll learn how your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, past experiences, and biases are constantly shaping how you see the world around you. But more importantly, you'll also learn how you can take control of that and start challenging your own perceptions to see reality more clearly. So stay with me as we explore how perception can be both a tool for growth and a barrier to the truth. Segment 1: The Philosophical Angle. Let's kick things off with some heavy hitting philosophy. For centuries, philosophers have debated whether we truly see reality or if we only see our version of it. First up, we have Plato's allegory of the cave. Picture this: a group of people have been chained up in a dark cave for their entire lives, facing a wall. Behind them there's a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, there are puppeteers casting shadows on the wall. The prisoners can only see the shadows, so they think, naturally, the shadows are all there is of reality. But when one prisoner escapes and sees the world outside the cave, he discovers that the shadows are just illusions, and the real world is much bigger and more vibrant. What does this have to do with our perception? Well, Plato's cave is a powerful metaphor for how we too can get trapped in our own limited views of reality. We see only what we're capable of seeing based on our experiences and mental conditioning. So when Nin says we do not see things as they are, she's really pointing to the shadows on the wall that we mistake for truth. Now fast forward to Immanuel Kant, who takes a more nuanced approach. He says that what we perceive is not the thing itself, but the phenomenon, shaped by our senses and mental categories. According to Kant, reality itself, what he calls the noumenal world, is unknowable. We can only ever see the world through the lens of our minds, and that lens distorts things. Then there's Nietzsche. He takes a more radical stance with his concept of perspectivism. Nietzsche argues that there is no objective absolute truth. What we consider truth is simply our own perspective, shaped by our personal experiences, biases, and desires. There is no single truth, he would say, only a series of competing perspectives. The world is the way we interpret it, and our interpretations are shaped by who we are. So here's the big question: how much of what we see is really reality, and how much is simply a reflection of who we are? This is a question that echoes through all of philosophy, and one that we'll continue to explore. Segment 2: The psychological angle, the mind's lens. Okay, let's take a shift and dive into the psychological side of things. The idea that our perceptions are shaped by our inner world is not just philosophical, it's also psychological. In fact, psychologists have identified several cognitive biases that affect how we perceive reality, often without us even realizing it. Let's start with confirmation bias. This is the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information that confirms our pre existing beliefs, while ignoring or dismissing information that contradicts them. Ever notice how someone who's convinced that a particular political party is always right would tend to only seek out news that supports that view? Or how someone who's skeptical of a particular person will always seem to notice the negative things they do, ignoring the positive? That's confirmation bias in action. Then there's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's the phenomenon where people with limited knowledge or skill in a certain area tend to overestimate their ability in that area. This happens because they don't know enough to realize how much they don't know. For example, someone who's just learning about philosophy might confidently declare they understand Nietzsche, when in reality, they're only scratching the surface. The more we learn, the more we become aware of how little we truly know. Finally, emotional reasoning. This plays a big role in how we perceive things. It's when our feelings dictate our beliefs rather than facts. If you feel anxious about a presentation, you might convince yourself it's going to be a disaster, even if you've prepared thoroughly and have all the necessary skills. Your emotions cloud your judgment. So, why is this important? Because Anaïs Nin points out we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. Our perception of reality is shaped by our inner world, our beliefs, biases, emotions, and past experiences. The brain doesn't just passively absorb information, it actively constructs a version of reality based on these factors. Segment 3, the practical angle, challenging our own perspective. So, what can we do about it? If our perception is constantly influenced by our biases, emotions, and personal experiences, how can we see things more clearly? First off, mindfulness is key. The practice of mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment without judgment, helps us separate our immediate emotional reactions from actual events unfolding around us. Instead of reacting impulsively, mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and feelings with more clarity. Next, we can look at Stoicism for insight. The Stoics believed that we can control external events, but we can't control how we respond to them. By practicing Stoic exercises, we can train ourselves to challenge our knee jerk reactions and approach situations with more rationality and less emotional bias. But it doesn't stop there. The most effective way to challenge our perceptions is to actively seek alternative perspectives. If you find yourself in a situation where you're convinced of something, whether it's a political issue, a personal relationship, or your view of the world, try to engage with people who see things differently. Ask them to explain their viewpoint and be open to hearing them out. Forces you to confront your own biases and broadens your understanding of reality. And here's a simple mental exercise you can do: journaling. Write down a belief you hold strongly, whether it's about yourself, someone else, or the world at large. Then ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it based on fact, or influenced by past experiences and emotions. Challenging our assumptions is one of the best ways to grow and see things from a clearer, more objective perspective. Closing thoughts. So, as we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. Our perception of reality is not a passive experience, it's an active process shaped by who we are. Our biases, emotions, and past experiences all play a role in how we see the world. But the good news is that we don't have to stay stuck in our limited viewpoints. By practicing mindfulness, seeking opposing views, and challenging our beliefs, we can open ourselves up to a more expansive and truthful view of the world. Now, here's a challenge for you. Take one belief you hold strongly and ask yourself how your perception has shaped it. Are you seeing it as it truly is, or are you seeing it through the lens of your own biases? If you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe, share, and keep the discussion going. You can find Food for Thought on YouTube and Spotify, and connect with me on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Until next time, question what you know, challenge what you believe, and see where the truth takes you.
When life's a storm and you can't see, stoic wisdom sets you free. Virtue, courage, justice too, lessons timeless for me and you. Stoic life, stoic mind, finding peace one thought at a time. Modern days, ancient ways, stoic wisdom guides our ways. From fate's embrace we take our stand. With virtue, strength we'll understand. Calm and clear with every breath. Stoic living conquers stress. Stoic life, stoic mind, finding peace one thought at a time. Modern days, ancient ways, stoic wisdom guides our ways. Stoic life, stoic mind, finding peace one thought at a time. Modern days, ancient ways, stoic wisdom guides our ways. Stoic life, stoic mind, finding peace one thought at a time.